OnlyFans lawyer thought she was cooking, but the panel had enough.
So women just tend to get bored in relationships faster than men, significantly faster.
But hold on. The thing is, we're not blaming you. We're saying, do you understand from an evolutionary standpoint what that would have to be? We lived in the 15th century where Kublai Khan and Genghis Khan killed 10% of the human population. They would murder the men and then they would take new wives. Those women had a choice. I'm either going to take a new husband or I'm going to die. There are different points to our evolutionary history where women had to monkey branch from one man to another.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, women get dissatisfied faster. But regardless of that, we can still acknowledge that, hey, if a woman is gaining a greater income and is also still doing a greater majority of the household chores, that's going to contribute to her dissatisfaction because she just feels like the scales are so uneven. But when it comes to the cases of like, oh no, men doing the same or more amount of household chores and she's maybe making less or same income, there's variables that you can play here where the woman doesn't feel as dissatisfied. That's what I'm trying to convey.
I think because, okay, I see what you're saying. She's making money and she's coming home to do homemaking stuff. Cool. But I think the more important thing here is that her being in the breadwinner position is really the main focal point where the issues arise. Because women don't really do that well when they're in a breadwinner position with a man.
And
they just don't.
And they don't want to be, by the way.
You know, and again, I know Jasmine's going to say, well, that's not, etc.
Well,
and you're going to use your personal
It's because both of them have an egalitarian ideal for a relationship or an egalitarian ideal for a marriage.
Real quick, because I want to get, hold on. I want to get the girls involved here.
A conservative thing is more hierarchical.
Ladies, give me a green or a red here. Give me a green if you would prefer your man to be the leader. Give me a red if you want it to be more equal. Give me, I want to be totally, okay. So more equal. So splitting the bills half and half, splitting the chores half and half, splitting financial responsibilities all together half and half, etc. That's what I mean when I say egalitarian equal. Okay.
And that's red. Right.
That's yes. If you want to be yes.
More green now.
Okay.
More green now.
And again, I know this is like a small sample size, etc. But whatever. But you look, ladies, you can look around here, and I've asked this question to almost every group of girls that comes on. It's overwhelming the amount of women that prefer the man to be the leader.
So yeah, there's probably a selection bias going in the people that are here. But what I was saying is, yeah, of course it makes sense. If a woman has more resources and a woman is able to take care of herself, she's going to be more likely to leave a shitty situation
or never get into a marriage in the first place.
Well, even an equal situation.
Or an equal situation.
And you know, they're not like women when they fare off worse financially after divorce and all of that. So if a woman loves a man, she's going to stay with him. She's not going to leave him just because she got a raise. If she's leaving you because she's making more money than you, she never fucking liked you. That's what I think.
Well, here's the thing. Women's emotions fluctuate, and her doing better than her man can absolutely affect her emotions, because women tend to look at men from a more prospective standpoint, either where they're at or where they're going to be. And if she's with the guy and she out-earns him and he's not doing something to, take back that leadership role from a financial provider standpoint, she's going to feel some type of way a lot of the time.
There are stats that show that the number one precipitator of divorce between couples who have been married already, where they're either making equal or the man's making more and the woman gets a raise in pay of some sort, so she gets a promotion or something like that, is the number one precipitator for divorce.
Exactly.
The other part is that also women find men who do not make as much money as they do as economically undesirable. There's plenty of stats for this. And women, from the polls that they've done up to now, anyways, they expect that man to make 68% more than she already makes. Now, put this into perspective. 56%. Well, then you've got more women going to university. You've got more women on OnlyFans. You've got more women making more money right now, and yet the expectation still stays the same.
I mean,
and it also stays the same, I should say, also in the most gender egalitarian countries on planet Earth.
Right. Almost half of U.S. households right now have women making as much, the same, or more than the husband. And I agree with you, because women don't want, one of the things that happens in divorce is women are far more likely to have their standard of living go down. They're more likely to seek government assistance.
In the long term, yes. In the short term, no.
Okay,
they said, and I really wanted to make sure I clarify this, because everyone says, oh yeah, women's standard of living, and they take a financial hit and they do worse off after divorce. And the funny thing is they still choose to leave. But the thing is, and this, I'm going to quote James Sexton here, is in the short term, that is, women do way better. In the long term, they don't. Because when the man is already coming back and already paying child support and already paying alimony after that, then you're seeing the transfer of resources from that man to that woman afterwards. Is that here's the real crux of this is that the incentive for the divorce in the first place? And that's where we can debate that. So
a
the problem is you still have to get past one really big hurdle. men are 8 times more likely to kill themselves
I agree.
after a
I 100% agree.
divorce.
So I saw you guys.
That's the ultimate, down. That's a big downside for divorce, right
Yeah,
there.
no, I completely agree with you guys. And actually, I saw. I love Richard Reeves. I think Richard Reeves is of Boys and Men is a great book. I think everyone should read it. Like, I like a lot of the stuff he talks about there. But I just feel like, yes, a woman who is resources, who's able to take care of herself, is going to not be as likely to stay in a shitty situation. I think that's really clear. But also that women want these men that are better than them in all these ways. This is changing as society is changing. And
I would
like you
argue
say,
that it is not because the machine hasn't changed in 200,000
Yeah,
years.
I find it hard to believe that, like, you're talking about cultural changes, but our evolution isn't going to change. Like, when women, when they're surveyed about when they make more money, they want men who make even more money than them.
And this is the argument made about hypergamy going down.
As the scale keeps going up, it's not like, well, I make $1 million a year, so I need a boyfriend who only makes $50,000. It actually goes up even higher.
Escalation.
Well,
That's
it's not
what
even. I mean, there's a great study, Institute of Labor Economics. The study's called the Economics of Hypergamy, and this was even looking at, like, since the 1800s to 2022, over 33 million marriages. Women typically marry men that are of the same status, and they're looking at all these countries.
Well, they kind of have to. I mean,
most people may across.
Since the 1880s, but that's the thing. That's because that's what we had. Right, so if you lived in Des Moines, Iowa, in 1910, then the only people
sexual marketplace was completely
your sexual marketplace
different.
is only going to be the people in Des Moines, Iowa, in 1910, who are about the same socioeconomic class as you are.
So hypergamy is only recent, but you're saying it's like
No. What I'm saying is hypergamy, like your ability to get to Drake, has only been since Instagram came around.
So
You understand what I'm saying?
so women in all these since the 1800s, they wanted those better men, but they just couldn't get them
That is
always.
absolutely- they didn't have access to them. They're just like we didn't have access to pornography, they didn't have access to celebrities.
Well, I think everyone wants, if they have access to something better than them, even men or women, they're gonna want it. Like,
For sure.
I don't think, but
That's
in
comparison.
general,
That's not hypergamy.
in general, people tend to mate across IQ, across socioeconomic status, and people
Because
tended
that
to
was
marry
that
even
was
across
the
all
environment
these.
in which hypergamy was allowed to be expressed. So if you go and you look at things prior to the sexual revolution, we had the church, we had like family stigmas again. Like I'll give you a quick for instance. Single mothers prior to the sexual revolution was a cultural social stigma. It was a shame. They had to put that woman away so she could have the baby and give it to the grandparents or whatever else. Today, that woman is treated as a superhero.
Yeah.
She can now do. That's the difference, by the way, in just the last 60 years, which is a blink of an eye in human evolution right now. So what I'm saying is this, is that we used to have buffers and checks and balances against men's sexual nature, which is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality, and we also had buffers against the worst parts of hypergamy, okay? Meaning we had the church, we had social stigmas, we had family, we had mores that were buffers against those. Now those things are gone with the advent of hormonal birth control and the sexual revolution that was the result.
So
Real quick,
you're
I want to
saying,
add to this real fast.
It was
and I'll
always
give you a chance here
there.
in a
It
second.
just was the expression of it,
And
and
to
the allowed
personify
to
this-
exist in the context has only been within the last like
So
65
you're
years.
saying that hypergamy was always just what they wanted, even though mating practices have not
Yes,
mirrored
because
this.
because we have one invention that allows us to see the
But then
results
even
of-
now-
I think the confusion, because I've had this
No,
discussion
I
before.
mean-
I think the confusion may be hypergamy is just money. You want a man who's taller than you, and if you have to stratify amongst several men, the man who may be taller than the rest of them, you have to choose between several men who are 5'6" and one who's 6'3". You're more attracted to the guy who's 6'3".
and men are more attracted to the woman.
Correct.
who's beautiful.
That's
not
hypoandry. Then that's what that'd be called. That's not the issue. My point is the idea that hypergamy didn't exist before. It still existed before. Whenever I hear this argument, it's like, well, because people of the same socioeconomic group married each other, therefore no hypergamy. No, the hypergamy is everything. Hypergamy is he is stronger than the other man. It's not the best man you can get. It's the best man you can't get.
Yeah, but you guys. What I'm saying is, you guys are saying this is what women want, but the practices that have actually been, women marry men that are taller than them. So that physical part, maybe. Although I wouldn't say they're more attractive. The tallest, yes, and the man wants the most beautiful woman. True.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, you're saying hypergamy was just what women wanted, even though it hasn't been reflected in mating practices, and even now, almost half of women are making as much or more or almost the same as the men. So when exactly was hypergamy just exploding? And other than on dating apps where people are just swiping, when is it actually? What real world evidence do you have of hypergamy actually determining mate selection? Because it doesn't seem to be there.
Well, no, the Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge is part of
But
that.
that's not reflected in the real world. Like that's
How
what
is that
people,
not reflected in the real
so
world?
you're still okay. Maybe it's proving the point that this is what women want, but what people actually do in real life,
Yeah,
what
You work
people
on
do.
OnlyFans. It's right there.
What do you mean?
That's-
No,
Wait, no,
Let's
let's talk about the average woman.
We have
Let's talk about the
28% of
average
sexless
woman.
men. Hold on, we have 28%
Wait,
of
where are you
men
getting 28% of sexless men?
Between the ages of 18 to 30, these men have had no sex in the last year. And that, hold on. But
what
that,
year?
Well, but that went from 2014
Not
to 2018.
2021, like
No,
we're trying
or
to update it all of a
2022.
sudden.
2022, it's not that. It's between 12 to 15% that have had zero
And it's
sexual
been on the
partners.
steady decline since
No.
1989, as a matter
Yeah,
of
because
fact.
younger people. So in fact, 25 to 30, GSS 2022, 8% of men reported zero sexual partners.
Right up until 2020 when it fell off a cliff and then went right back up to where it is.
No,
all you're
it's
do-
not.
all you're
It's
doing- see, here's the thing
2022.
is everybody
Look at-
wants to look at that GSS study. They want to look at just what's happened since like 2019 to where we are right now, as
No.
opposed to the fact that it was from 1989 all the way to 2018, which is the time shift for that entire
No,
study.
I mean, the 2018 was like the year that all the incels, red pillars took that graph because that was actually an anomaly, even when you looked at years before, and especially when you looked at years
But-
after.
but what's it-
So
what's it-
looking at much different
sexlessness
stats.
is down. Yeah,
And
well,
by the
I'm
way-
looking at the
by way,
GSS.
that's only
It was-
that stat that you're looking at is one data point among probably like a dozen.
It
others.
was, it was an anomaly from 2008 when the iPhone was created till 2018. That's
But
the
that's
point.
not because 2018 the 28% of men who reported zero sex, that wasn't in any other year. That when that one GSS 2018 study that hasn't been there, and for zero partners, and then every year even before and after it's been less, and especially when you look at 25 and up, because 18 to 25 have lower, they're doing everything less. They're having less sex. They're more likely to be virgins, everything. As soon as you go 25 and up, do you know what the rate of virgins for men 25 and over are? It's like 2%. Look that up. For 25 and over, the rate of virgins, virgin males, are like less
Yeah,
than 2%.
I don't necessarily think a man not being a virgin means that he's doing well sexually. It just means that he's
Or
had sex
even if
one
you
time.
if we looked at the most recent data we have between 18 and 30, it's 12 to 15% of men. And if you look at 25 and up, it goes way down. And 25 to 30, it's 8% of
Right,
men.
but it has to progressively go down. Like once I have sex, then I can't go back to not having
But
sex.
I'm saying those people have one sexual, like, if we look at just in the past year, in 2022, and you look at 25 to 30, 8% of men reported zero sexual partners. So what's the contention?
God damn. What? God damn, what the fuck? All right, check. Yo, check.
I'm
there it
lost.
is.
Well, hold on. I wanted to, besides